Welcome to the Say Hello to Your Therapist podcast. I'm Dr. Bethany Valenti. Join me as we say hello to Maria Zabeti, a marriage and family therapist who specializes in helping the helpers. She loves working with people who work in service of others, focus on themselves, how they feel, and their needs and wants. Her primary specialties include anxiety, depression, and spiritual abuse. In this episode, we discuss what themes she often comes across in working with helpers, including fatigue, resentment, and lack of appreciation. We explore how she works with them, including cognitive behavioral therapy techniques and brainspotting. A quick note that the views that we express in this episode are our own and are not a substitute for medical or mental health advice that you would receive from a professional with whom you have a relationship. Don't forget to check out the show notes to learn more about Maria and things that we talked about. I hope you enjoy. Maria, welcome to the podcast. We're really excited to have you.
Thank you so much for having me.
I was wondering if you could share with us how you became a therapist.
Oh gosh. Wow. I've been through many, many jobs, and really all of the jobs that I've had has been service. It's been of service to someone.
Mhm.
And not a lot of people know this about me, but I actually was a medical assistant for several
Oh,
years.
wow.
Loved it because, of course, again, I'm taking care of people, right? Serving people and trying to really help them. So after moving from Chicago, because I'm originally from there, I then moved here to Los Angeles and then decided that, well, go back to school and
Okay.
went through school and loved every bit of, the psychology part. Wound up getting a bachelor's in human services, but then wanted
Mm,
to really continue, because I really love the whole psychology aspect of it,
yeah.
and decided to go to grad school, and then here I am. I've always, again, I just have always loved serving people in
Mhm.
any capacity, and so I thought that being a therapist would be a really amazing way to be able to connect with people because I love
Yeah.
connecting with people,
Hmm.
real level.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's such nice, deep work. Like, just
yeah,
really. Yeah. There's, gosh, I think her name is the one who wrote the book. Maybe you should talk to someone. I don't know if you read that book. I think her name is Lori Gottlieb, but I might be totally saying that wrong. But one of the things that she talked about in her book is that she really liked being a part of people's stories because she started out going into like medicine, but you didn't really get the same connection with people.
yeah.
And she was very like story oriented. And I really connected with that of like, but I would like the deeper work.
Yes, yes, exactly. Hearing people's stories, that for me just really, no matter what I'm going through, I just feel like when I hear
Hmm.
people's stories, it just invigorates me
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
able to sit down and have a conversation. And even, yes, they come in with a lot of pain,
Hmm.
but I love seeing from the beginning, like when they come in,
Hmm.
feeling a lot of pain, to when
Hmm.
they're ready to actually end therapy, and
Yeah.
they you see that person that was meant to be come out.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
You get to the full arc of like their journey as much as possible within that, phase of their life, right?
yes, I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So this is a second career for you. I didn't know that.
Yes, yeah, this is my second career.
Yeah. It's so funny when you were talking about it. I thought of two or three people just in my cohort alone. They were coming back as second careers. And then in my last job, I knew someone there who graduated, actually worked in HR too, and then went to grad school to go into psychology. How did you get drawn to psychology specifically once you were in school again?
I think really one of the things, I did have a mentor
Mm.
before I went into grad school.
Hmm.
And it's interesting that you mentioned HR. I thought that HR was going to be what I wanted to continue on with,
Hmm.
But once I asked about it, and then I interviewed someone in the field, I
Mm.
recognized that it wasn't that, just as you were saying, right? It wasn't that level of connection
Hmm.
I was going to
Hmm.
have with people. I was going to be mainly sitting at a desk, and I mean,
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. I just felt like for me, I felt like I'm a people person. So
Hmm.
I just have to, I need to be able to be connecting with people,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that makes me happy.
So you were mentioning all the service work, like you've always been drawn towards service work, and this is like along those lines. You shared with me that you work with helping professionals. Like that's kind of like a huge group of people that you work with, right? Do you feel like that's partly why? Like, do you just connect with their like drive for service too?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel like I really can connect with them in such an amazing way because I understand
Mm,
what they're going through. I understand their thought process. I understand their need to constantly be connecting,
mm.
to be able to be of service, to
Of service. Yeah.
feel like they're doing something wonderful in the world.
To have
They,
like meaning. Yeah.
yeah,
Impactful.
and
Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
them to feel like they actually matter.
Yeah. Absolutely. This doesn't resonate with me as a person at all. We're not here for that. So you said a moment ago how you understand like how they feel. What are some of the themes that you like see come up with helping professionals?
Well, really, from what I hear, it's sort of pattern is they feel as that people just don't appreciate them. They don't
Mm,
appreciate all of the things that they do for them.
yeah.
See what I'm doing for you? Like, why aren't you appreciating me? Why aren't you saying the least littlest thing like thank you or like, oh,
Like
what
the
can
bare minimum. Yeah.
yeah, like what can I do for you?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so that's one of the things that for me just I've noticed come up a lot, with professionals that are constantly giving and giving and
Mm-hmm.
want to be able to see, some thank you, something, some appreciation
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
what you do.
Yeah. What tends to fall in under the kind of like helping professionals umbrella when we're talking about it?
The healthcare professionals, gosh, okay, medical professionals,
Mm-hmm.
there are even, it's interesting because basically one of the clients that I see, it is a helping profession, but they do a different type of job, but it is in service of people. And
Yeah.
and so there's medical, there's of course
Therapists, I'm guessing.
therapists, there's just business people,
Mm,
technology, even though, it feels like, okay,
yeah.
well, I'm sitting, but they are in service, right? They're
Yeah. Yeah.
constantly in service of people. They're
Yeah.
fixing their problems. They get angry people calling
Mm-hmm.
sometimes. And
Mm-hmm.
so it can feel a bit daunting, right? It's like,
Yeah.
okay, here I am working, programmers, people that really, I mean, are there constantly, call center people,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um, restaurant managers,
Does teacher fit? Teacher would fit, right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
I've seen
Yeah.
quite teachers, doctors.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen doctors as well. So
Yeah.
it's really a gosh, as far as
Yeah.
giving, it's such a broad,
I know. When I was thinking about asking the question, there's part of me that's I feel like every role for the most parts provides some kind of service. You know what I mean? There's some sort of service at least or help that they're doing. I think of the people who take care of my trash. You know what I mean? That is
yeah,
a giving service profession, but I
yeah,
didn't know if there was a definition that we think of more often. It feels like a lot more medical field tends to come to mind very easily
yeah.
with this.
Yes, and definitely medical field for me is the clients that I've been seeing have been from medical field, teachers,
Mm-hmm.
and people from, they're sort of like investigators,
Mm-hmm.
well, those kind of things. They're people that usually, they want to be able to achieve a higher goal in their lives.
Yeah.
They're constantly searching, okay, how can what could I do to be able to be of service of others and be
Yeah.
my best for my family? Be really looking for, I mean, business folks, business owners,
Mm-hmm.
they're constantly trying to achieve a higher goal in their lives.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, so when you were describing earlier about not feeling appreciated, is that like in their work specifically, or do you feel like it's outside of their work or both?
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they do feel that they feel, as far as work, they feel a tremendous amount of stress when
Mm,
it comes to their work. because they're just doing, they're constantly working and working, and they're trying to be their best.
Mm-hmm.
And so they come home, and sometimes, it's not always pleasant because they feel like it's just another emotional weight
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
feel when they come home, and
Mm-hmm.
they don't feel appreciated, or
Mm-hmm.
somebody like leaves the house completely a mess,
Mm-hmm.
and they just like, "Ugh, I mean, come on, let me at least be able to feel some calm when I come home."
Yeah.
But they feel like they're constantly having to do things for others,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not even appreciated.
Does it feel like they're naturally just gonna fill in the gaps for people? Like they're naturally more like giving? They're not like coming home like, man, I worked all day. It's your turn to do dinner or whatever it is. Or is it like, oh, like I got to make sure everyone's happy?
Exactly.
Okay.
So that is one thing. I got to make sure that everybody's happy. What could I do? But then, gosh, I'm tired.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
tired, and I love giving to people because it makes me feel good. It
Yeah.
makes me feel needed,
Mm-hmm.
and but at the same time, it's like, ah, I'm so tired. I don't know how I'm going to be able to continue
Yeah.
until, the rest of the day.
How could I keep up with this? Yeah. Yeah. I would imagine that's like super affected by what phase of life they're in too.
Yes.
Like if they're
Yes.
parents or not, for instance, or if they're students or not.
Exactly. I think the parenting, definitely, that's a whole different level there of
Mm-hmm.
stress, because
Mm-hmm.
of course their children are there, and they need to be able to come home, and especially women, they need to come home, and they need to make sure that the kids have dinner, and that their
Mm-hmm.
homework is taken care of, and
Yeah.
that and maybe the spouse is needing something, and
Mm-hmm.
so they have to go, and they have to, take care of and make sure the spouse is okay and happy and
Yeah.
ready to move forward with the day or
Yeah.
the evening, really.
Yeah. And where does the like lack of appreciation come from? Is it that does it come more from a buildup of people not saying thank you, or is it like a they're constantly asking me for things? Is it I can't get any sort of break? I'm thinking of what I would guess could come up for somebody with this.
For me, I see they tend to feel, yes, that nobody really says thank you, just a simple thank
Mm-hmm.
you, or I really appreciate what you did for me there.
Mm-hmm.
But also, it's the
Yeah. It's the
expectation.
combination of those two, I would guess. Yeah.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
sort of the unsaid expectation
Mm, mm,
that they need to give. Well, like, and they'll say to the overfunctioner, it's like, well, where's this and where's that? And the overfunctioner is like, oh my gosh,
mhm.
I put it out there for you. I mean,
I know. I don't
just
know. You find it, but
yeah.
like they
I
there's lack of an ability to be like, go ahead and look for it. Here's where I put it. Like you're then setting everything down and coming in to try and find it, kind of thing.
Exactly. If the
Yeah.
kids, you're doing homework, the kids, it's
Mhm.
very hard to, get up and then you have to go. Although,
Yeah.
you love your family, it's just sometimes it becomes just very heavy. And
Hmm.
then when they even get a chance to take a break at night,
Hmm.
then they start to ruminate. The day starts to ruminate, and they're like, gosh, I feel like I'm doing so much, but I'm so exhausted every day.
Hmm.
And then I feel like I can't even go to sleep, or if they can
Yeah.
go to sleep, they wake up
Mm.
middle of the night, and then their minds are
Yeah.
ruminating constantly about the day, and about, did I do enough? And what did I do here?
Yeah.
I hope that project was done.
Yeah. I'm getting a huge like sense of push and pull between I want to be appreciated, I want to keep people happy, and I'm also like kind of mad about it. Like I'm kind of getting a little resentful about it at the same time. Like I'm anxious that I didn't do enough, but when I'm really in that tired place, it's like, all y'all can just take care of yourself.
Yeah,
Then
yeah,
they can't because then they're in that situation again and feeling like they need to fill in the gaps.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a sort of push and pull for them, because it's like they're constantly, again, they have to give and give and give. And that's very normal to them, right? And so they don't, yes, they wonder, why is it that I'm so tired? I'm so tired and I'm giving, I'm constantly giving. But they don't have the opportunity to stop and really think, okay,
Yeah.
why am I tired?
Yeah.
Why am I feeling some resentment coming in here?
Yeah. Yeah. Especially when it's like, well, I like being of service to people. Why am I so mad about it? I don't want to be mad. I don't want to be resentful. And it sounds like they also aren't getting their own needs met.
Exactly. At least they don't feel like they are. They're not
Yeah.
like they're
Yeah.
getting the needs that they
Mm-hmm.
would love to be able to, receive from their
Yeah.
coworkers,
Yeah.
bosses, their spouses, children,
Right.
everyone in their lives. And so there's that guilt as well, that sort
Mm-hmm.
of guilt piece that comes in.
Yeah.
Why am I not being appreciated? But then they're like, oh, okay, I'm not being appreciated, but then I should be grateful. I mean, I have such a good
Mm-hmm.
life.
Yeah. Look at all these things I have. I have healthy kids. I have a good career that I've worked really, really hard for. Let me think. There was something else that you said that I was drawn toward. Oh, yeah. It reminded me, I was recalling like that sense of feeling like you're maybe giving more than you're getting. I've worked with a lot of clients, and this has been with like younger clients too, who have been able to notice it earlier on in life. But if you don't notice it sooner, of like, oh, I tend to give more than I receive, it can be really possible for people to take advantage of that. Sometimes kindness is seen as a weakness. Do those themes come up at all in your work?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yes, I particularly have, a client that is dealing with that. And so
Mm,
where they do feel and they express that, they feel like, you know, they know that the people will ask them because they'll say yes
mm-hmm.
without hesitation.
Yeah.
They'll say,
Yeah.
yes, okay, I'll help you,
Mm-hmm.
because they do love, and that again, that desire to serve pushes them
Mm-hmm.
despite just the exhaustion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And how do they find themselves? Do they take care of themselves? Like what, like where are they in the middle of all this? Like what's up?
And I think that's the main reason I really believe they get to a point where they want to see, a therapist because they're not taking care of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They're not really stopping and reflecting as much, or they're not stopping and taking care of themselves by doing things that they want to do,
Yeah.
they enjoy.
Yeah.
It's always usually activities of someone else, and
Mm-hmm.
sort
They're
of
tagging along or
tagging
supporting or whatever. Okay.
they're tagging along, and they're just, okay, we'll do what you want.
Mm-hmm.
But really, they haven't had a chance to stop and ask themselves, well, wait a minute, what do I want?
Mm-hmm.
What do I like doing? What are
Mm-hmm.
some of the hobbies I would like to take up?
Yeah. Do they feel like they've sort of lost themselves sometimes?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
that's one thing that I do hear a lot is that they feel like, yeah, like, oh gosh, they feel so like, well, they're constantly talking about others.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I don't hear is talking about themselves in the sense
Mm-hmm.
of what they enjoy doing and what they like doing separate from that,
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
their jobs and their families. What do they like really? What do they enjoy? What is a passion of theirs?
Mm-hmm.
Some of their own, besides giving, what are other values that they have?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Do you do a lot of values work?
I do some,
Yeah.
yes. I do
Yeah.
some values,
Yeah.
and let me just take a drink.
What do you mean? Your needs?
Yes, I'm meeting my needs. Yes, very important, right? In
I'll
order,
join you. I'll join you in meeting your needs. Okay.
this, as the old saying is, wetting my whistle.
Yay. I haven't heard that one in a minute. Yep. I
So, what was I saying?
was asking about your values work.
Oh, yes, I do some of that as well, especially ask them a question. Well, what do you
Mm-hmm.
value? And they kind of stop and they really have to think about it
Yeah.
because or they'll say, you know what? I have no idea.
Right.
Do you have never really thought about it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, values work is one of the values clarification work that I like doing.
Mm-hmm.
one of the main things that I really enjoy doing with them,
Mm.
and usually like to start doing with them, is actually helping them to see how they feel. I usually
Mm.
use a feelings chart. So
Okay.
it's a chart of faces and emotions.
Yes. Oh, okay. So you do one of those. I was gonna be like, do you have the feelings wheel?
Yeah,
Wheel.
I usually like the emotions. I usually have a pretty extensive chart. I
Yeah.
used to have those where the faces, and started with those, but I then started to go into like some more different under what either under anger or under stress or under sadness.
Mhm.
So it kind of helps them to understand. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
what category am I in today? You know?
Yep. Yeah.
So they look at that, they look at, okay, well, no, I feel this. And they usually are able to express once they see the chart, they're able to express, oh, wait a minute, I do feel this. Oh, and then I feel that.
Hmm. Hmm.
Maybe then once they mention a certain emotion, then I just, I really try to help them along in understanding what it is that where does that feeling come from? Like,
Yeah.
what do they think,
Right.
about that?
Yeah. When just to bring it back briefly, which I think that's super awesome. I love how like feelings are like branched out. My mom was a clinical social worker, and I still remember when I was like a teenager, one thing she said was the three base feelings are mad, sad, and glad.
Yeah.
Like, and everything just sort of branches out from there. So I just love that. But I would like, I think it's so fascinating how like sometimes we can think that we have a certain value, but our emotions will tell us that like either they're like not in line with what's important to us, like things aren't in line, or our feelings are actually telling us like maybe those aren't the values that we sort of have anymore. Like, oh, I thought this was important to me, but maybe it's not.
Yes, yes, because then they're able to process.
Hmm.
They're able to process a little bit deeper, and they're able to really look at it and say, "Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. Yeah, I feel this way, but then I feel maybe guilt because I feel that way."
Hmm.
And so then the feelings chart then starts to, I think for them, I see their eyes light up and they sort of, it comes alive for them
Yeah. Yeah.
because they're able to talk. And then before they know it, they're like, wow, I didn't think I was going to do this much talking.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, and
Yeah.
which is amazing.
Right. That's
They
fun.
even feel guilty for talking too much.
I know. They're like, oh, I feel like I've been talking so much. Yeah. I feel like
Yes.
so sorry.
And I'm like, no, no, you're doing great.
Yes.
You're
Keep,
doing
keep,
great.
keep doing that.
Yes, that's
I'd
it.
like you to,
Compliment.
we need more. We need more of this. That's part of
Yes,
why we're here.
that's
Just
right.
maybe.
You to be able to reflect and process.
One of the things that like came to mind when you were talking about the values too was that I would imagine that so many of them do connect with relationship as one of their values. Um, like relationships or connection with people, maybe, but that so you could say like objectively, or they might in some ways be able to say like, oh, but I'm like helping my relationships, I'm fostering my relationships, like I am doing all of that, why am I not happier? I think what I was thinking of when I said that a moment ago about, oh, maybe the emotions aren't actually saying that like that value isn't actually getting like met in the way that we thought it was. Yes, you're tending to your relationships, but are they like filling you up in the way that you need to be filled? Is that value, the pocket of relationship value, taking up so much of your time and energy that you don't have time or energy to even engage in other values that would help you feel even more fulfilled outside of that?
Yes. No, that's exactly. I feel that. I see that a lot
Yeah.
in the clients I see where just they have to go through a really deep process. They have to kind of really think about it. And sometimes it's amazing to see when my clients have that, realization that when they have something that they've never thought about, or,
Mm-hmm.
I'll ask them questions, right, to help them dig a little deeper
Mm-hmm.
into what they're talking about or they're feeling, and they have a sort of, what's it called when the light comes on, for lack of a better word.
Right.
A light bulb comes on, right? They realize, wow, I didn't realize that this is how I feel, or I've never looked at it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really wonderful when they're able to really see that on their own.
Yeah.
It's
When
like,
it clicks. Yeah.
yeah, when it
That's really,
clicks completely for them. Yes.
yeah. Yeah. What are some of the things that so we talked about values a little bit. We talked about emotional. What else do you find yourself using in your work with them?
Well, definitely. One thing that I really enjoy, I do an approach called cognitive behavioral therapy.
Okay, so you do CBT.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So I do tend to do a lot of visuals. So I do tend to maybe like again with the feelings chart. I
Yeah.
also do what's called a negative thought journal. So, right,
Mm.
so when they have negative thoughts, right,
Mhm.
because that does tend to come up a lot, is they
Mhm.
have a lot of negative thoughts. They're in bed and they're just thinking, oh gosh, my life is just, why am I not happy? I'm just not feeling it. I'm irritated with my family, even though I love serving them, right? They sort
Mhm.
of have that, they have that what's called cognitive dissonance, or hey,
Mhm.
love flirting, but I love doing this, but it's just too tiring.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I help them through what's called a negative thought journal. And what that does is it helps them sort of really go into, okay, what is the negative thought that I had that really
Mhm.
increased my stress level, anxiety, and then what happens is that, okay, so I ask them with the feelings chart, where,
Mhm.
okay, you feel these things, but at what level? And then they're like, wow, I feel this on like an 8. Oh, this I just feel this really strong. And then I go on to ask them questions like, do you really believe that? What do you feel is really like, how much of this do you feel is true? Like, do you
Mm.
believe that this is true?
Kind of what those like sort of reality testing sort of
Yes,
things. Okay.
exactly, reality testing, and then they're like, "Okay, I see, well, but I see this is true because of this, and that," right?
Mhm.
And
Here's
then
my like I think it's often like in CBT is described as kind of like almost like evidence, like gathering evidence, or am I making that up?
yes,
Okay, so
gathering
like so here
evidence,
like so when they're saying I see it this and this, that's their kind of like their our brains like trying to find the evidence for it, right? Of like, well,
yes,
this is how they did this and this is you know.
right, trying to find the evidence for and against.
Okay.
They believe. And so once they go through that, that thinking process, then they're able to come up with a more alternative thought that it doesn't increase their stress and their anxiety.
Mhm. Mhm.
And they're able to, and usually they feel much better afterwards because like, wow, I really went into really thinking through this. And then I tell them a lot of us humans, we don't have it. I mean, with this society is where
Mhm.
we're raised to believe that the more that we do, the better, right?
Yep. Yep.
Uh, that it's very hard to stop and think about what is it that's really bothering you
Mhm.
and what is affecting you the most.
Mhm.
And so that for me, it feels just really, really for me, it's so great to be able to see them be able to think and be able to reflect and be able to see that this negative thought was what was, harming them in the first place. And so they really come to that and they're like, wow, this was very helpful.
Yeah. Do you have an example of like a thought of like how that can going through that process, like starting from here to here?
Let's see. Okay, so there was one, I'm going to get an example here from one of my clients, and I'll try to be as private as possible.
Oh,
But
right. Yeah. Yeah.
because then, yeah. So this person was really upset. It was in their job, and they were
Mm,
upset
okay.
because they felt that their boss was really not appreciating them
Okay.
and appreciate everything they do and how much they sacrifice
Yes.
and
All the work they do. Yes. Yeah.
yes, everything. So then they're like, well, gee, I don't think my boss really appreciates me. I just don't think, yeah, he doesn't care. And so
Mm,
then, we go into, well, how does that, how do you think, what are some feelings that come up for
hmm. Yeah. How does that make you feel? The
yeah,
state.
it's like, what are some of those feelings that,
Yeah.
those negative feelings? Well, I feel unappreciated. I feel irritated. I feel
Hmm.
tired,
Hmm.
stressed. And then I know at what level, and they have to feel like an 8.
Yeah.
And so what's the evidence for that? That the boss doesn't,
Hmm.
well, my boss doesn't, he doesn't even talk to me. He just throws stuff at me and says, oh, no, I need you to do this. And then he leaves.
Mm,
And then when I
mm,
try to talk to him, he's like, yeah,
hmm.
yeah, yeah. he just sort of dismisses them.
Oh, so very dismissive. Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
dismissive,
So you
right?
really don't feel like you have a voice when you talk to him.
Exactly.
Yeah. You're not
So
even a
it's
person.
exactly. And so then is now going, okay, what are evidences, against that thought that your boss just doesn't care?
Mhm.
And maybe they'll say, well, maybe they're busy. They're really busy and they're kind of having a lot on their own plate. And
Mhm.
they want to be able to help, but they have also expectations. They have all these. So, so we go into those type of deeper evidences against that negative thought that my boss just doesn't care about me.
Mhm.
Right. And there had been other times where the boss had mentioned, I really appreciate what you've done there. And yeah, I need you because, you do these certain tasks well. And so, it's really easy to forget
Mhm.
the positives, right?
Mhm.
When there's so much negatives, or at least
Right.
there's so much more
Yeah.
negatives thrown at you.
Yeah.
It's
Oh yeah.
very easy. And so it helps them, the negative thought journal or the process, right, of sort of restructuring, right, those thoughts really help them because they had forgotten that they
Mhm.
were at one point appreciated. It's
Yeah.
just not, maybe, not to what they really need or feel like they need.
Yeah. I feel like especially if you're someone who might be like have some more insecurities or if you might I guess more like a people pleasing tendency potentially or needing that validation. So it's like, well, yeah, my boss may have said that he appreciated or said that I did good work like a year ago, but since then it's been nothing. I haven't heard anything since then. Some of those like situational factors of like what has changed or or did he say it last week and you're just like really stressed? Like
Yeah,
did he say like thank
exactly.
you for something last year? But like this particular situation was hurtful because of the context, like, because it still sucks to, like, sort of not be talked to directly.
Exactly. Exactly. And there's just so many. And it really does depend on the situation of that person, right?
Mhm,
We start to dig a little bit deeper into,
mhm,
okay, so what did happen?
mhm.
When was the last time you felt appreciated? Or when was,
Yeah, yeah,
so really, it's not, for some, it does, they do need to be able to kind of stop and really look deeper into, okay, well, was I appreciated? Or, like you mentioned, right? It's the stress. The
mhm,
stress really doesn't allow us to really feel any positive feelings because we're
mhm,
stressed. We're working so hard. And
yeah,
so it doesn't leave room for us to feel too many positive feelings or feel good.
yeah, yeah, or even, like, be able to just hold on to that, like,
Yeah.
for very long. I know for some people too, like, if you said, "Yeah, you did a good job one time, but every other interaction I have with you feels critical or abrasive," that can really take away from the positive, you know?
Exactly.
Like, "Oh, yeah." I'm like,
Exactly.
maybe what does it mean that if he doesn't appreciate you, like, really? What if you're not really getting what you need at your work? Manage that? Is that kinda like the next step?
Exactly. And so we look further into that. Okay, so yeah, what are the pros and cons?
Yeah.
And so if you feel that, this job has more cons than pros, then let's look into that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that and
Mhm.
see where you would like to, what you would like to do. What would be your
Yeah,
next step?
right. Are there changes you can make at work versus, like, looking for stuff elsewhere? Like, just the variety of options that you'd have.
Yes. And
Yeah.
so we go into that. And so what are some of the things that that you feel like you can do
Mhm,
to find that appreciation, to feel like, wow, okay, my work matters.
mhm,
What
mhm.
I do does matter.
Yeah,
It shouldn't be the only thing, right, that matters, right? It's just the person is helping them also to be able to get to a point
yeah.
where they recognize their own value
Mhm, mhm.
rather than what they do. Because it's
Yeah,
easy to get wrapped up into their work as something that gives them value, that gives them, in other words, their own self-esteem.
Yeah. That sense of self as
Yeah.
well, like how it like defines you. I've
Yes.
talked with clients before about there are some people that can just go into work and have that not connect, but most people do sort of still need some sort of sense of meaning or something in the work that they do.
Yeah.
And yet doesn't mean it has to be like your whole self. Who are you when you go home? You know,
Yes.
or do you ever leave work really?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? 'Cause some of them do, come home and their boss calls them.
Mhm.
Okay, so then
Talk
let's
about appreciating them and their time and effort.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then, that goes into another basically approach that I have, and I really enjoy really, helping clients learn is boundaries. Boundaries is really, really very important, right? So
Yeah.
that do a client that the boss does tend to call this client after hours, and it's like,
Mhm.
I wonder what's causing him to, feel that he can call you at
Yeah.
these crazy hours.
Is it because you said, "Yeah, let me know, call me anytime,"
Yeah.
like, or is it because you answer the phone every time? Like, or is it really because if you don't answer the phone, you start getting text messages or, like, you hear about it the next day? Like, what is the force? Is it within you or is it, like, from the boss?
Exactly. And so those are some of the things that we explore,
Mhm.
and so then they're like, they realize it's like, I'd like to introduce maybe exploring more about boundaries.
Yeah.
And they're usually very open to really discovering. It's like, okay, what are boundaries? What is that?
Mhm. Yeah.
So let's look at how we can be able to set those boundaries.
Mhm.
But you can do it slowly, right? Because
Yeah.
boundaries, it's kind of really like working a muscle. It
Mhm.
takes time, right?
Mhm.
In order to set boundaries. Because again, as a society,
Yeah.
we're really just taught to not say no.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're needing to be of service, even as children. We're needing,
Mhm.
especially when they've grown up or they were growing up and they were children and they needed to really need to be a child essentially. They
Yeah.
weren't able to, right? And some certain families they're not able to be a child. So they learn early on that their needs are not they're not valued. Their
Mhm.
needs are not important. And the
Yeah.
needs of everyone else is.
Yeah. So the roots of it you find often come from childhood as well, like,
Yes.
more often than not.
Hmm. Yes. And I'd like to always like explore a little bit more about, what their life was like as a child.
Mm.
What was, who were they in the family?
Yeah.
Were they the peacemaker? Were they
Mhm.
the first child, which is the responsible one? Where were they
Mhm.
in that family? And so it kind of gives me a good indication as to, wow, okay, so they were serving since very, very early.
Mhm.
And so this has been ingrained. And this has been the belief of theirs that
Yeah.
it's hard to really undo.
Undo,
So
yeah.
that's why, for me, when I work with someone, we do it very slowly. And I'll ask them what is it that they need. Maybe
Mm.
when they're confused or they're feeling something like, well, what do you need right now?
What what do you mean? Let's say, "What do
Right?
you mean, what do I need?"
What do you, and
Such a
they kind
foreign
of stop and
question.
like, yeah, like, oh, that's a hard question. I have no idea what I need right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
You were talking about CBT. Do you it sounds like is there, like, some family system stuff in there too, or no? Am I making that up when I'm hearing, like, when you're the
Um,
role that they played or just, like, the messages they got around, like, what they were doing?
yes.
Maybe a little
But
bit?
also too, I think a little bit of that too, where yes, a little bit of the looking into, okay, were they the placater? Were they
Yeah.
right? Were they a little bit of that? Not so much that, but a little bit of that. And it kind of
Mhm.
got to me to understanding where they had actually started. Where did the root of that belief start?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Makes
and
sense.
the difficulties that they've gone through that make it hard sometimes too. We
Mhm.
as people we have society, family, right? And
Mhm.
every people receive messages that it's very hard, really hard for them to change.
Mhm.
They change their thinking of I need to serve other people
Yeah.
because there's just so many, there's roadblocks that are put there,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Especially with the spouse. The spouse may expect the giver to continue to do what they've done.
Mhm.
And then
Mhm.
when
How's it gonna go if you don't do it? And how
exactly,
do you wanna handle that? Yeah.
well, gee, I don't know how to do this. Can you help me? I mean,
Yeah.
you've always been the one to do it. Why you've always
Yeah.
been the one doing the finances?
Yeah.
Can I don't know how to do that. Or you've always been the one to always keep the kids in line.
Mhm.
Or
Mm.
or you've always been the one doing all of the housework and everything else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why can't you do it now?
Mhm.
So that could be a major roadblock, right? And the people
Yeah.
feel more pressure. The
Yeah.
giver feels more pressure. It's
Yeah.
like, well, when is this ever going to end?
Right.
It's sort of
Yeah.
like a hamster, right? Being
Right.
right on a hamster
Yeah.
wheel, and
Right.
you feel like there's no way out.
Mhm. Yeah. And there's nothing like if there's no real change that you introduce, then it's just gonna stay the same. Like it does. I could see how you might feel trapped.
Yeah. And so it's difficult, but I really feel it's not impossible, right? 'Cause I think that once the person they give themselves that opportunity
Mhm.
to really, really stop and think,
Mhm.
they can find solutions.
Yeah.
They need that space. They absolutely need that space to be able to stop and be able to find ways that they can just little by little start to and begin to make small changes in their lives that can lead to great, outcomes.
Yeah. Steps.
It's
Yeah.
baby steps.
Baby steps. And I know so these are some of like the conceptualizations or different like directions that you could take. I know that you also do brain spotting,
Mhm.
right? At what point might you introduce that to some of like your, helping professional people, your clients? But-
Usually when they start to, for me, sometimes it may be getting through really feeling this amount of sadness
Mm,
or anxiety about the relationship with the spouse mainly, right? Or as a parent, right? So brain spotting is pretty, it really does help for people with performance issues but mainly for people with trauma.
yeah.
So when they've gone through traumatic experiences, maybe
Mhm.
a loss a loved one, like I'm working right now with someone that also has gone through that. And so we're going to start and begin brain spotting and really
Okay.
explore further, how that loss has started to, again, she feels just so much stress. She's doing so much. And
Mhm.
so we start to do the brain spotting when it comes to that. And they're constantly bumping with they're having this back and forth with their loved one, or could be a mother, could be a spouse, could be a friend,
Mhm.
or there's like a toxic relationship going
Mhm.
on,
Mhm.
and they need to be able to process that
Yeah.
through brain spotting. And so it really helps them, to really stop and think about and be able to, and the beauty of brain spotting is that you don't have to talk about the actual trauma that you
Mhm.
like. You don't
Mhm.
have to go deep into it.
Yeah.
And
Selling point you often give them for the
exactly,
yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
help them to realize this is the beauty of it, that you don't
Yeah.
talk about this because it can
Yeah.
re-traumatize them.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so I want to be able to make sure that they're okay. So so I like to be able to prepare them with some good coping skills,
Mhm.
breathing techniques, things like that, they're able to connect to when they're feeling maybe their anxiety is a little really, really high, it gets really high, or they feel just this tremendous amount of sadness that they don't like those feelings. Then
Mm.
usually we'll switch over to something that feels less difficult for them to face.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then once they're able to face that, they're still able to process that.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so I've really seen some really, really great outcomes with certain clients that I've had who have had a past trauma, especially trauma, and they've been able to process that trauma And they were able to, some were able to process it within a few months
Yeah. Yeah.
and were able to, overcome. Now, it depends, of course, on the trauma.
Hmm.
Right?
Right.
You don't really know. Every person is different, right? And
Yeah.
so I've seen, brain spotting really, really help them. Or
Hmm.
maybe just even there was another client that I had done brain spotting with, and they were having issues. They didn't even realize and understand why they didn't like their loved one's boyfriend or girlfriend.
Mm. Mm.
And they just didn't know why, but they had a very
I,
strong reaction.
yeah, I just have the feeling kind of thing. Like I
Yeah.
just don't
So
like him. Don't have any, yeah. Or
I
them.
just don't
Yeah,
like
don't like
this
them.
person. I just can't stand them. And I was
Yeah.
like, So then let's explore that.
What's that
Let's
about?
see
Yeah.
it. Yeah, let's see what it really, what comes up. And so they were able to explore that.
Hmm.
And months later, I asked them, how's that situation? They're like, you know what? I don't feel that strength. I don't feel
Well,
that situation anymore with that person. I was able to see
yeah.
the person and I don't have a reaction. So
Did
it's
that feel like it was like because that person may have reminded them of a trauma? Was that what
that's
happened? Like
that's
unconsciously?
Ye well, that's the thing is with this particular client, I asked them,
Yeah.
also asked them that, and no,
Right.
they just didn't know
Well,
why.
didn't know. Didn't know
And
why.
sometimes they're not gonna know. They're not gonna
Yeah.
know, but it's
Okay.
nice to be able to figure out figure out for themselves to not have
Hmm.
that strong reaction that
Yeah.
really ultimately harms them.
Hmm.
And be able to really lower that amount of reaction, that strong reaction, and lower it a little bit to where when they approach the situation again,
Yeah.
not like and they're just not having that really strong reaction.
Hmm. How do you introduce brain spotting to like your clients? Like, how would you describe it with the way like you kind of say like, "Hey, I want to try this thing."
I usually ask them, so I noticed that you're having a really strong reaction to that. I was wondering if maybe we could explore, an approach that I usually have with clients. That's
Hmm.
called brain spotting. So what I do is I give them a little bit of education, what we call psychoeducation. So I let them know what it's about. So I let them know that brain spotting is a really powerful tool that I use to help people to be able to process trauma or process difficult emotions.
Mm.
So those difficult emotions can be processed through, like, for instance, I'll show you here. It could be processed through we'll start with a little pointer.
Mm.
And then, so I tell them that, and then, or I can be able to have you look at a certain place, maybe look behind me or look at something, and you can continue, or maybe like when, let's say, for instance, they have a very strong reaction and I notice that they are looking at a certain area. Let's say they're looking up, right?
Mhm.
Looking up, but they're really upset, and I'm like, I noticed that you're looking up there. Can you stay there?
Mm.
Then that's after I explain what brain spotting is.
Mhm.
And so I tell them that you can look in that place and then you can just process and see what comes up.
Mhm.
I know it sounds simple, right?
Mhm.
Uh, but it's really, really a powerful way to be able to help them see that where they look, they can be able to actually process from and heal
Mhm.
from, because people typically when we talk, we're always looking, right? We're
Yeah.
looking
Yeah.
this way, or we're looking that way, or we're
Mhm.
looking down, right? We
Mhm.
typically don't always stare at each other
The entire time.
the
Yeah.
full time, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're always looking and then when they're talking about something that really distresses, that really, really causes a lot of pain for them,
Mhm.
then they're looking at a certain place. So we try to figure out where they're looking at is bothering
Mhm.
most, right? So maybe they may be looking at them and looking at a certain, let's say they're looking up, and I'll ask them, okay, so when you're looking up and you're thinking about that, tell
Mhm.
me what intensity you feel, the feelings of sadness or the feelings of anxiety. And they'll say, "Oh, I think I feel it like, and then I'll say anywhere from 0 to 10. How do you, where are you, what are you experiencing?" Oh, they'll say like it's an 8. Okay, so then tell me where, and so basically I also let them know, and I bring them to their body. So I ask them, so where in your body, what do you feel in your body now? What's going on there? Do you feel anything in your body? And they're like, well, yeah, I feel tightness. I feel tightness in my shoulders. I feel tightness in, like, my chest feels tight. Okay, so let's stay there, and then they'll start to process. They'll continue to look at that one spot, and they'll continue to process. Some of them will talk through the whole situation if they want to, but some will just stay quiet and they'll look and process that. And then later we just talk about it after we
Yeah. So there's kind of like a debrief, as it were.
yes, much more
Okay.
deep, really going into, some really deep processing about that specific situation that's
Yeah.
troubling for them.
Yeah. How do they tend to respond when you introduce it? Like, are most of them pretty open to it, or?
Yeah, I think, amaze them, yet they are very open to, because I think when people, when we feel a high amount of stress, sometimes we're just open. We're open
Mhm.
to like anything that will
Mhm.
give some relief.
Help.
Yes, help. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, yes, let's try that. Right.
Mhm.
So usually what I do also is I give them more information about it. So I give
Mhm.
resources, and so if they're, let's say, for instance, they're like, well, I don't know, I'm not sure,
Yeah.
So then I said, why don't I give you some more resources on it, give some information on it, and then you can just make your decision from there. And then when we see each other next, let me know what you think. And if you don't want to, then we can move on to, something that will make you feel more comfortable.
Mhm. Yeah, I've really enjoyed listening to how you work with people and the work that you do. It's really, really deep stuff, like you said, like getting that connection that you you were wanting. It's
Yeah,
really cool.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
just working. I think for me, the most enjoyable thing is when they get to that other side. I kind of use that analogy where it's like you're in the valley, you're
Yeah.
climbing this hill, and you're trying to get to the other side. You're trying to feel
Mhm.
like, okay, there's got to be something better on the other side.
Mhm.
So I use that analogy, and as
Yeah.
they're climbing, and then once they're up there, they're like, okay, I let them
Mhm.
know, you know what, you're up there.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you feel? Do you feel like you're at the top of the mountain?
Mhm.
And so they'll maybe say, yeah, I feel like I am at the top of the mountain.
Mm.
And now you can see clear into on the other side. You can be able to
Mhm.
see so many things that you weren't able to see before when you were in the valley, when you were
Yeah.
having such a difficult time because the stress was just really keeping you down,
Mhm.
that it was making it hard for them to really connect with their
Yeah.
loved ones
Yeah.
the way that they really desire that connection.
Mhm. I like picture them looking back down at the valley too, and being able to like, oh, how far removed you are from it, you know?
Yes, and they're able to even yes, that's another thing. That's a good point that you made, is that they're able to look down and say, "Wow, I really I've really come a long way."
Mhm. Mhm.
And I'm feeling like, "Wow, okay, I can do this. I can do
Yeah.
this thing called life."
Yeah.
And so I love being able to see them at that point in their lives
Mhm.
that I can be able to start, connecting, or they're happy to come in happy. Another amazing thing that I love is that I see, and I even let them know, it's like, I remember when you came in, you were looking very down. You were looking
Mm.
down, or you were looking like stressed. Yeah, I can see the stress in your face. I can see the pain. And then once they are on that other side,
Mhm.
see this light,
Lift the
almost like
light. Yeah, they just feel lighter and yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
it's almost like, oh, they're on the top of the mountain and they're feeling
Yes.
great.
That's what you want for them, right?
Exactly. And they
Yeah.
just, you see that major change. And it's, I love being able to see that in clients.
Yeah. Lovely. I love it. Are you ready for our wrap up questions?
Sure.
Where are you licensed?
I am licensed in California, just California only.
Okay. And do you have openings right now?
I do.
You do.
I
Very
do.
nice. And so you mentioned one of my questions is about theoretical orientation. So is it core CBT?
Yeah, just
You like to describe it.
CBT, a little bit of positive psychology, just, looking at self-love, right?
Mm-hmm.
Self-love.
Mm-hmm.
So I incorporate a little bit of that. And then, of course, brain spotting.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing I really, really love incorporating to help
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. Do you take insurance?
I do.
Do. Okay.
I do, yes.
And for those in private pay, what is your current fee?
175 a session.
Okay.
Yes.
Are you online or in person?
Online only.
Online only, baby.
Yes.
That's me.
Online. Just need an array of people to, be able to help.
Yes. You can reach all across California at this
Love
point.
it. Yes.
What is something that you like to nerd out about or get excited about?
Oh boy. I love to nerd out on, I guess maybe, I don't know if I would call it nerd out on that, but sometimes, well, yeah, I guess I do. It's interesting because I like to look at the brain. There,
Mm,
maybe it's because of brain spotting,
right.
but
Yeah.
to nerd out on that, I even have,
Mm-hmm.
it's so funny. I know that your folks
For
there
sure.
that that have audio only, probably
Right.
not gonna really see it, but
We'll describe
I
it.
have my little
Oh,
brain.
your little brain. Oh, it opens up. Yeah. Labels, all that good stuff. You got the lobes. Got the lobes.
Yes,
There's the
got all the
cerebellum. Yep.
different the main portions of the brain.
Yes.
I love being able to look at that, and I also, I also teach clients as well a little bit of that too, so they can understand what's going on with them,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
how
Yep.
brain spotting does help them.
Yeah. Anything that you're like super into right now? Like, are you watching anything, reading, or trying something new?
Wow, gosh, yes. I'm doing a lot of things, but one of the things I really do enjoy, and I think
Mhm.
just for me, my own self-care, which I think
Yep.
is really important. That's
Mm-hmm.
another thing I really
Mm-hmm.
talk a lot about, very heavily on, is self-care. One of the things I love writing, and it's gotten me through many difficulties in my life.
Mm-hmm.
As long as I've had this, I have an electric tricycle.
Thank you. I was so hoping you were going to talk about your tricycle. So it's an electric tricycle. I didn't know it was electric. Yeah.
Yes, it's an electric tricycle. And that tricycle, I mean, I can really move at high speeds with that electric tricycle, but I love it. I feel so free when I'm out, and no matter what I'm going through, I feel that I just get on that tricycle
Mm.
and all the worries seem to melt away.
Yes. Yes, I love it.
It's amazing. Oh, it's gotten me through grief. It's gotten me through quite a bit of, different situations. And
Mm-hmm.
I just get on that tricycle and just feel the air and
Yeah. Do you
ah,
listen to stuff on it, or are you just like it's just purely you and the tricycle and the road, basically?
yes, usually I do
Yeah.
a crowd spin. Obviously, he has his
Okay.
bicycle,
So
electric
he'll
bicycle.
come to.
But when we go together, we just go and we just ride down the
Mm.
street, ride towards a nearby college, which has animals. They
Oh.
have goats and sheep.
Oh yeah.
And we feed them. So that's another
Oh.
pastime that I love.
Yes.
Again, I know it's giving, but it just makes me feel really
Yeah.
happy.
Yeah. Yeah. There's like a
Terms of
nature piece about it
yeah,
too.
you
Yeah.
connect with
Yeah.
nature, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But then you
Mm-hmm.
see the beauty.
Yeah.
And it's
I
not
tried a tricycle because of you. But we went on vacation and I'm not saying I'm not willing to try a tricycle again, but I tell you, it was not as comfortable to ride a tricycle as I thought I was going to be. Like, so I don't know. It was not electric, to be fair. So maybe that has something to do with it.
yes.
Um, but there was definitely much more of a learning curve than I thought there was going to be because I could not turn the way I was used to turning on a bicycle. So I was like, this is, I like ran over myself a few times, I just, it was kind of a time. I did it on vacation, but I did it and I'd be willing to do it again. But I was like, oh, a tricycle. I think that could be for me because my husband and I have this kind of like running back and forth because he doesn't like my dismount on bikes. He doesn't think I'm very safe on them. And so I was like, oh, if it's a tricycle, I won't have to worry about that. And so maybe I'll do better on the tricycle. And I did not ride it well. I'll just say that. But I literally like rented a tricycle, So I don't know, maybe I need to get one that's fitted special for me or maybe get it electric. I don't know. We'll see. So
Yeah, it is different. It is different. You
yeah.
do have to get used to it. I didn't realize that myself. I mean, I had a spill on it. But once after I'd learned, it was like, oh, this is amazing.
You can do it. All right. Okay. I'll try to take inspiration for that. Do you do coffee or tea?
Tea.
Tea. Yes.
Tea. I'm a tea drinker all the way.
Tea drinker. Yeah, that's me. What kind of tea do you drink?
Green tea.
Green tea. I had a feeling. I had a feeling green. Yeah, a good one. Do you have a favorite skill to give clients?
Yes. For me, I think one of the things that, well, it's free,
Yeah.
is to be able to just go out or maybe even, if they have a window where they're at. And if they don't, they can always go out and just look up. Just look at the sky.
Mm. Mm.
Listen to what's around you.
Yeah.
See if you can get to a place where it's quiet.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're at lunch or something, maybe from work, drive to a place that's quiet,
Mm.
right? And that they can be able to like stop,
Mm-hmm. Slow down.
slow down, right? So also, deep breathing.
Mm-hmm.
So if they can't, let's say that, they live in an area where it's just
Yeah.
heavily populated, they
Yeah.
can't. So do some deep breathing. So I like that. I
Yeah.
think to help them and ground them,
Yeah.
do some good, really good deep breathing with some of the grounding and some body, sensations, like really exploring the body sensations.
Mm-hmm.
They can
Mm-hmm.
get into their car, escape a little bit from the other,
Yeah.
just get in there and just be able to start to breathe deeply and really get in tune with their body
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Very
those are,
cool.
I know I
Yeah.
said one, but
Yes. Do you have a least favorite misconception about mental health work?
I think for me, and that's unfortunately I still hear it a lot,
Mm-hmm.
is, oh, they think that if they're going to therapy, it's because, maybe the family members say, oh, I don't want to go to therapy. Those are for the crazies,
Oh, yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
so there's
Yeah,
this
that's still out there.
misconception
Yeah.
that, that only people that go to therapy are crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And not hurting, not needing that space. So that's one thing that kind of, yeah, I don't like hearing that.
Yeah. 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 Or like the people that are like, oh, I support you getting therapy, but I would never do it. Like,
Exactly.
yeah. Yeah.
Right. That keeps another person from getting, really
Mm-hmm.
what they need. If they
Mm-hmm.
if they so desire to really be able to stop and reflect on their lives and
Yeah.
feel the support of another human being there.
Yeah.
And that really can be very hurtful for the person.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Yeah.
what bothers me, is that they're not able to get that, because they believe the misconception
Mm-hmm.
that therapy is really, it's nothing. It's, why would you want to do that?
Yeah. 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 It's a tough one. So where can people find you if they want to learn more about you or what you do?
Well, they can find me on my website at,
Mm.
of course, www.zabetipsychotherapy.com. I do have my phone number on there. They can find me on LinkedIn, several places now. I have a Facebook business page, and I was going to mention somewhere else, but I think those are the main places that find me, at least
Okay.
now.
Awesome. Yeah, for
And,
now.
and Psychology Today. That's right.
Yes.
Psychology
Can't
Today.
ever forget Psychology Today.
That's right.
Yep. Maria, thank you so much for your time today.
Oh, and thank you so much for really giving me this time to just, be able to talk about what I love doing.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate it.